go into game 4 here. Absolute Legends
Radiant team ban.
taking game 3. Very nicely done. 2-1 right now in their favor.
Yeah, and it's been 2 very quick victories for Absolute Legends. So if you're Quantic, maybe you look towards banning out that Prophet this time around. They picked up the Chen. They had a really nice smoke gank to start it off, and they got that first tier 1, but they didn't turn it into anything more. There was no tier 2 taken early on. They were not able to stop the Ancient stacking, nor were they able to steal the farm. They gave away the Roshan after Absolute Legends slowly but surely accumulated that map control and the gold advantage. So if you're Quantic, I think you got to focus a little more on your early game. Maybe pick up some more sort of AoE heroes who can help stop the push, because otherwise if AL comes for you with the Prophet, with the Leshrac, you are going to lose all those towers and be facing a very steep hill to climb once again.
Yeah, absolutely. It felt like a very systematic take by AL. I think they had that strategy very, very well planned out. And, I mean, there were a lot of little fights, but nothing really major back and forth. It just seemed like AL just sort of built their advantage over and over and over. They didn't really do the greatest in CSing very early on. But once we started getting into the sort of later laning phase, we had some more ganks come in. And then once we started transitioning outside of that laning phase, AL really turned it on. Absolutely, and did very, very well in their team fights, in their ganks. Very well done. We're going to see some bans coming out. Chen and Enchantress being banned out by AL this time. Broodmother and Invoker banned out by Quantic. So now just waiting on the last bans for both teams.
Will Leshrac finally get the axe? That is the burning question for me, because that hero has been really on a tear today. And frankly, he's been on a tear for the past month or so, if not a little bit longer. At some point, he's going to get that respect, but for now, he's just not quite there. Of course, Leshrac does lose games, but it just feels like he's such a nuisance to deal with every time he's played. Instead, it will be a Prophet, so AL banning out 3 heroes that can jungle and 3 very strong pushing heroes. And Quantic, the question for them is, will they ban out another strong solo along with that Brood and Invoker, or will they ban out some sort of push? As the first pick will be going AL's way, so it's interesting they're banning out all the pushers, because they could have been taking those some of these with their first pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Quantic has a bit of a hard choice here. With both Chen and Enchantress banned out and the Furion, you still have the Lycan left on the board, and do they really want to give up a Lycan? I mean, you can't shut him down. It is possible, but he's sort of known right now as to be one of those really strong hero picks. Basically, because if you lose one team fight, it's completely possible that a Lycan, especially if he goes to that Necronomicon build, but either way, if he has some teammates with summons, you pop that Hound, you just take down towers so incredibly quickly. And it's so hard to shut him down when he just pops that ultimate. They do take out Lycan, so Leshrac is going to be the first pick once again. AL picking that one up. So they finally decided, you know what? No, we can't give them Lycan. We'd much rather deal with the Leshrac. So interesting from Quantic still banning out the Leshrac, even though the success has definitely gone Leshrac's way most of the time.
Yeah, as the Dota 2 hero pool starts to look more and more similar to Dota 1, new heroes getting added day in and day out. Heroes like Lycan are going to get the axe, and heroes like Leshrac are going to get through, at least until teams decide maybe to devalue one in favor of the other. That Leshrac pick was instant. You know he had it selected already. Just hoping that if they banned out the Lycan that he would take the Leshrac. The reply is a Windrunner into Crystal Maiden. Off the bat, Quantic already getting a lot more in terms of spam than they really had for the entirety of last game. They don't have a jungler to start, but Darkseer is in the pool. That is one of AL's signature heroes to run. And we'll have to see if they go that route. It hasn't been picked up by either team. Of course, Shadow Demon available as well. I call him Leshrac's best friend, and I think they work really well together. And we'll have to see if AL agrees it's available. So is the Darkseer. I think that would be a great second and third pick for them, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on Quantic if they go that route.
Yeah, absolutely. Already going into the extra time for AL, thinking very hard about their last 2 picks for this first picking phase. And I really agree. I mean, with both of those, I would love to see Darkseer. We haven't seen him very much. Nigma is going to be the pickup, so AL most assuredly going that. Not really a big surprise there whatsoever. Now we're just waiting on third pick from them. Sand King.
A little more team fight heavy this time around, but still, all of these heroes very strong, even before we hit the mid game. Enigma with his pushing power, and we saw the Leshrac Sand King combo in game number 2. Very strong dual lane. You can get farm on both heroes if you put them in the safe lane. If you add an Enigma on top of that, the push is coming fast and furious. And Quantic picks into Morphling, so they pick into a hero that needs a good amount of farm to really shine. Now, Morphling's pretty decent early game. He offers you more than, say, an Anti-Mage because of that really powerful nuke and just the general impossibility of the task of trying to kill him because of that morph ability as well as replicate. Still, Morphling needs a while to truly shine, and that's what AL's lineup is designed to do, is punish teams that take a while to get going. So if you're Quantic, I think you really got to pick some strong early game heroes to help sort of slow down the push. They've got to start, but it's going to be tough, man. I expect that bottom tier 1 to fall within the first 5 minutes of this game, unless Quantic pulls some sort of crazy offensive tri-lane out of the hat.
Absolutely. I love the fact that it was sort of an insta ban of Darkseer. That's just that hero combined with Leshrac, Enigma, and Sand King. There's just way too much great AoE there. So that was instantly banned out. We're going to see Night Stalker and Queen of Pain banned out by Absolute Legend and waiting on the final ban by Quantic. And they really have to take away some more team fight. I don't know if they're going to ban away. Well, I mean, there is already Sand King on AL, so Tidehunter is in the pool, but it's not as likely that AL is going to grab that. And they're going to take away the Storm Spirit away from Absolute Legends. Little interesting pick. I mean, that is very dangerous, especially for the way that Morphling does need that farm. If Storm Spirit is able to give out that farm and just roam around the map and force team fights, get that nice little initiation followed up by the rest of the Absolute Legends team, that would be pretty deadly.
Yeah, now one of the Quantic players, I'm not sure who it was, I think it might have been Korok, was recently interviewed, it might have been a week ago or so, maybe a little bit longer, and he said that they were just going to they'd gotten criticism from other teams as well as fans for doing the same thing game after game, but he said, hey, as long as it's working, we're going to keep on doing it. Well, they're doing it again, they're picking into the Morphling, again, one of Korok's signature heroes. They always put so much on his shoulders, really. There's a lot of expectations for Korok to really carry the game and dominate the opposing lineup. He hasn't had the space or the good start to do it. Maybe he'll get it this game. But at some point, we have to see an adjustment from Quantic. Of course, they're on the brink of elimination here, as AL needs only one more win to take the series. So they're going to go with their tried, true, and trusted Morphling pick. But AL has so much disable. If you don't have a Linken's, you're simply going to die. Even with a BKB, you can still be Black Hole. And it's a Venomancer. If you want to go for a support, Venomancer gives you more push than pretty much anyone else, and they do need a support. So the ward's going to be very obnoxious. Also decent anti-push, good for scouting. A lot of AoE, a lot of teamfight, and you mentioned teamfight. Well, there's your answer. It won't be a Tidehunter for now, although they could certainly last pick that. But it will be a Venomancer, so even more AoE damage. Going to be so hard. I mean, they need a mechanism, a pipe, and like 5 BKBs for the amount of AoE coming their way.
Absolutely. It looks like we're going to see Quantic picking up the Beastmaster. I like this pick. A little bit of tankier hero who could potentially go for a pipe for the rest of the team, which is going to be really helpful against all that AoE magic damage that's coming away from AL. I think pipe is going to be one of the biggest items for Quantic if they could pick that up relatively early before AL starts forcing these team fights over and over and over again. That's really going to be a big pickup. Dragonite is going to be the pickup for AL, so that's going to be their farmer. A little bit of interesting lanes here. They could potentially... I mean, off the back, I see Enigma potentially a solo mid, and they're just 2-1-2. But if they do that, they're playing into a tri-lane, and that's going to be kind of rough.
Yeah, they have some flexibility, AL does, and this is why teams love picking heroes like Enigma, Chen, Enchantress, but especially the junglers who can also go into the lane. So that the chief examples would be the Prophet, the Darkseer, the Enigma, heroes who are great in a 1v1 or even a 1v2, they're decent. But if you need them to go into the jungle, they can. So it may, ultimately for AL, it may come down to how Quantic lanes it. Generally with the Morphling, you see a tri-lane to start off. We'll have to see if they go that direction again. If you look at Quantic's lineup right now, not too much team fight, to be honest. They've got the Beastmaster Roar, the Shackle Shot. Aside from that, if they go into a head-on engagement, 5-on-5 in the mid-game, and they're not really far ahead, they're probably just going to get wiped. So the name of the game for Quantic will be dominating the lanes early, Korok getting off to a fast start. Once Beastmaster hits 6, looking for gank opportunities, because otherwise AL is just going to they're going to get their core items up, and they're just going to all 5 mid, get some towers down, and there's really nothing Quantic can do about it, at least unless they pull a miracle hero out of the bag. I keep on saying the bag, but they gotta do something remarkable with this hero if they want to take team fights. Otherwise, it's got to be gank. It's got to be winning the early game for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brewmaster's going to be the pickup. Very interesting.
There's your
Really.
team fight.
Wow. I mean, he is great team fight. It's just their laning is going to be a little bit funky now. You're going to have Windrunner could be the support hero on top of that Brewmaster. I'm presuming they're just going to run that CM Morphling middle. Pretty interesting pickup. So now AL can change up their lanes accordingly, not that they see that pickup, because as you said, they are very flexible when it comes to that. And this is definitely going to be helpful because in the Suicide lane, if you're talking about throwing either Windrunner or Beastmaster, just having a Venomancer is definitely one of the best heroes to keep just punish Suicide lane heroes as much as possible. So as long as you can keep that lane static, that Suicide lane hero is not going to be able to get anything because they cannot stand up against a Venomancer whatsoever. So now that they're changing it up and there's going to be a Suicide Beastmaster who's going to be stacking the Ancients anyway, and that's where his primary source of golden experience is going to be outside that first couple of levels, this is going to be pretty helpful because he doesn't necessarily have to be in lane all the time.
Yeah, as far as lady goes for Quantic, I believe we're going to see a Crystal Maiden Morphling dual lane mid. I've seen them run that before. It could be a Panda mid with the Crystal Maiden, and then we'll probably see a Panda and Windrunner up top with a support Windrunner, letting Panda get the farm. Basically, we're very likely to see two dual lanes. I guess we could see an offensive tri-lane with the Windrunner, the Crystal Maiden, and then either the Panda or the Morphling, and then whoever's not in the tri-lane up on the safe lane. But I'm guessing we're going to see a 2-2-1. Quantic doesn't have nearly as much flexibility in terms of their lanes because they don't have anyone who can jungle. This is going to allow AL to react if they need to and make adjustments. For Quantic, the most they can really do is look to rotate a support around the map. While we have this brief pause, let's go ahead and introduce the players. Godot will be on that Leshrac, Musica on the Sand King, Bleak on the Dragon Knight, Shaitan on that Enigma, and Snoopy on the Venomancer.
And then over there on the Quantic side, we've got Painted Gold on the Brewmaster, Mikey. What's that over here? Windrunner. Korak on Morphling, Solera on Beastmaster, and Last Hit Magic on that Crystal Maiden. And this laning phase, I mean, it's all about mind games, I think, right now in this laning phase, because you already know that basically it's going to be 2-2-1 for Quantic. They could do that tri-line, like you said, because Brewmaster has been known to solo safe lanes very, very easily because he just gets put up in a 1v1 situation a lot of time against another Suicide laner. And he just works up perfectly because he can dominate 1v1s easily. But that's all. That's up to the decision of whether or not AL actually goes for a tri-lane. With they could choose to go a couple different things. It's just all over the map. They could go Venomancer or Sand King Dragonite tri-lane with Leshrac solo mid Enigma Suicide lane. Or they can do a 2-1-2 like you were saying. They could even potentially, if they really wanted to, they can try and match up the Sand King versus the Brewmaster 1v1 and have Venomancer babysitting Dragonite with the Enigma in the jungle. But that would be really, really risky, and it would have to. Their lanes would really have to go their way. They would have to be able to match up the Sand King versus the Brewmaster. Otherwise, it's just not even worth it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it all comes down to mind games, trying to figure out what your opponents are going to do, and we'll have to see how far are the teams willing to go for those mind games. Solera does not have his items, but they are trotting out to him on the courier. The item pickups may give us a clue. Of course, because that Windrunner is being played by Mikey, I expect for it to be a support Windrunner, as he generally plays that hard support role for the team. Last Hit Magic on that Crystal Maiden with a pair of wards picked up. Quantic wants to contest the early jungle. Beastmaster throwing down some axes just to remove the trees. This will make him a lot harder to gank. And AL is looking to defend their jungle very aggressively. No real tell yet if Shaitan is going to be in a lane or in the jungle. He doesn't have a Soul Rain recipe, which is often how we see the Enigma played. Normally you rush that Soul Rain. So it's hard to say right now. AL is kind of over the place, and maybe they'll make adjustments once they see what Quantic is doing. It might be an offensive tri-lane. But if they tri-lane, it's either going to be a Morphling or a Panda who's not getting as many levels. And especially for the Panda, he needs them. So if it's a tri-lane, it will probably be the Morphling. And it looks like that is the way they're going for now. AL in a great position here to set up a huge bait. Korok in first. He eats the Burst Strike and the Dragon Tail. Not the best chain stun, but it's enough. And down he goes. An easy first blood being claimed. Normally, Morphling can get out of those situations. AL seems to be deeply inside of Quantic's head at the moment. That was a great play. And Snoopy already eating a tree here, looking to deward the camp. If you can't see what I'm drawing, but he just ate this tree directly south of where he is now. And that's a very common ward spot to place, but there is no ward. There's still very heads-up play by AL.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching that. Very well done. knowing how the opponents are going to be trying to counterward that pull. So if he's able to get that off, that's going to be very helpful. And as it stands right now, it does look like it's going to be the Enigma versus the Beastmaster up at top. Middle is going to be the two melees, Sand King versus Brewmaster. So they are going to be able to put that Sand King versus a Brewmaster, which when it comes to melee v melee, Sand King definitely has a certain advantage if he's able to get really good caustic finales. It's just really rough on another melee hero to try and get any CS, because every single time Musica is just going to be throwing caustic finales on every single creep and just being able to pop them here and there. And so that's going to be kind of rough for Brewmaster, but at the same time, he has enough survivability and the ability to clap that he should do decently, if not be able to pick up better CS.
Yeah, if any melee hero can handle that caustic finale harassment, it is Panda, because he's just so tanky and his clap hits so hard. Even if you burrow strike in and hit a caustic finale, the clap plus a couple of right clicks, and you're going to be crying for your mommy. On the bottom lane, it looks like they're just not having a good time at all on the Quantic side, and this is one of the downsides of an offensive tri-lane. If you don't get toward the pole camp, everyone gets under-leveled, and if you look at this tri-lane, everyone needs levels outside of maybe the Crystal Maiden, but Windrunner definitely one of the more level-dependent supports, so this is not a good situation for Quantic. They really need those two solo lanes to go well for them, or they're going to have a tough time. That being said, Korok is sitting on 2 CS, and you compare it to Bleak, he's at 3, so neither carry farming particularly well.
Oh man, back and forth. Music and Pain are just hitting at each other so hard. Just one thinks the other will be able to fall. If they just get him low enough and get that final nuke off, they might be able to finish him off. But they do blow potions, and they were going to see the first pull. So if they get that extra bit of golden experience, especially both on Venomancer and Leshrac, that's going to be really helpful before CM gets level 2. CM's going to be the most important because she will have 2 nukes once she hits that level 2. So if they can get an experience lead on this, that should be really helpful, and they can probably force a fight here 3-on-3 once they do have that. Another ward does go down, but it does get countered. Actually, that was a first one, and an attempted pull. But very nicely done, gets countered right off the bat.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They know the pull's happy. They just can't do anything to stop it. Now, in a lot of situations, pulling your lane against the tri-lane will work against you because the tri-lane will push down your tower. Of course, when you pull the lane, it means creeps are not there to defend, so the enemy creeps will start attacking your tower, but they don't have any strong pushing heroes. There's no Leshrac in this tri-lane. There's no Enigma. There's nobody who has summons or really abilities to quickly mow down the tower's HP. So as a result, they're not getting anything out of this situation except Doe farm. And if you look at the level discrepancy, already everyone on the AL tri-lane is hitting level 2, and you mentioned Last Hit Magic still searching for that level 2. Mikey nowhere near level 3, Korok even nowhere near level 3, and that is not a situation you want to be in. Morphling has to get that wave 4 maxed out quickly. The damage is essential to bringing down AL in a timely fashion.
Interesting right now, Solera up at top on that Beastmaster. He's actually massing out the inner beast, so he's going to be pushing into Shaitan, as already Shaitan is at his tower trying to defend as much as possible. And we're going to see Korok actually, they're going to switch up the lanes. They know they're losing their tri-lane pretty heavily, so Solera is going to go bottom. And I think for right now at least, Korok is going to be soloing just to be able to pick up some of that experience, but eventually they might throw another support there. And they might just break off and do a 2-1-2, which I think would be rather helpful. Middle, though, Musica's taking a bit of damage. It's just a back and forth. Musica has the bottle, which is very, very helpful. But Painted Gold right now is going to be searching. Oh, it's all about this top rune. If it does spawn top, that's going to be a huge boom for Painted Gold. He's going to sit on the top rune, and it is going to be top. He's going to be able to pick up the invis, so that's a full bottle to him. Otherwise, if Musica had been able to pick up the rune at bottom, or just even denying Painted Gold the rune at all, he probably could have lost the lane there. He was very far behind in the regen. All he had was that empty bottle, whereas Musica had lots of different regens items left over. So very, very lucky that he was able to pick up that rune, and very smart sitting on the rune right off the bat.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a little bit of luck, especially in mid, and the worst thing, the most frustrating thing is to go check that top rune and then have it spawn bottom, and the enemy team collects it from you, which Snoopy, he's actually doing a double pull right now, but can easily work his way over to that rune because he's eaten one of these trees. Very quick path to that bottom rune. Yeah, you need those runes to win mid, especially if you're Panda, because his mana pool is just so low. He is one of the worst intelligence growths in the game, if not the worst, and his clap is very expensive in terms of the mana cost. And of course the ult, pretty expensive too. Painted Gold's still not hitting level 6, neither is Musica. If one of them gets level 6 first, it could instantly be a kill, and Painted Gold actually has 6. Musica has to be very careful about his positioning. One round move and he will go down, as long as Painted Gold has mana for the ult and the clap, which actually right now he does not.
Yeah, especially since he has no levels in Sandstorm, he's not going to have any sort of invis to try and get himself away from those pandas. Should Painted Gold be able to get a good opportunity to hit both the clap and the nuke, so it's going to be very hard. He's going to, like you said, play very, very careful. But at the same time, he also does have his epicenter, but unfortunately, Painted Gold can just pop the ultimate whenever Musica tries to hit that ulti. So maybe we're going to see either team can really roam into middle and try and get an attempted gank. But as it stands, Painted Gold, it's just so hard to gank a Brewmaster. Both heroes are hard, but Painted Gold with that escape with the ultimate, it's just you can turn around a kill so easily.
Yeah, the Brewmaster is a lot harder, especially because his HP pool is higher. I mean, aside from the... Oh, Solara in some trouble here. It's a Burst Strike, and the Epicenter will follow. There is no Roar, so Solara should be dead, or at least in some trouble. Actually, I don't think Bleak is going to be enraged. The Flame Breath just narrowly missing. That was so close. But in the end, Solara wins, lives, and that is a big win for Quantic. No Epicenter to worry about, and that means Painted Gold could feel very good about bullying Musica. Also, leaving the lane gave Painted Gold some more time to farm. But I want to go back to what you were saying about the fact that Quantic made an adjustment in lanes. I love this decision. Korak only at 12 CS now, but he's actually getting farm at the moment. Godot is up here as well as Shaitan with the Black Hole. So that might change soon, but hey, Korak is getting something, and before he was getting absolutely nothing.
Nice little stun right in the middle of the tower. Painted Gold's going to have to back off. I think he was searching for an opportunity to be able to throw that ultimate down. He had a nice little clap, but nice little stun coming out as well from Musica. And right now, I really agree with what you're talking about. Oh, no. Missing out on the stun. Musica barely missing Painted Gold. I think with the teleport in from Shaitan, they were at least going to be able to force down the Brewmaster ultimate. I don't think they would have been able to kill him. Shaitan probably not close enough to hit that black hole, but nice little attempted gank. But Painted Gold's going to be able to pick up a little bit extra CS from those Enigma Eidolons. Can't really give that up. They just give up so much gold.
Yeah, definitely something you don't want to be feeding a Brewmaster, because Brewmaster, while he doesn't need as many items as, say, a Morphling or an Anti-Mage, a hard carry, he still wants to get his core items up. He'd love to have a Drums of Endurance, maybe a Phase Boots, and then a Blink Dagger, and at that point, you have to be very careful. And Painted Gold with this good start, expect big things from him. I'm a little surprised he hasn't made an attempt to gank anyone yet, but for the moment, Shaitan is harassing him down quite a bit. No mana for the Black Hole. Painted Gold will be okay. The push is commencing up top. Korak has picked up that Ring of Aquila, and he's got the R on. Everyone who's learning how to play carry, take notes. If you're ever in a situation where you have the advantage in lane, make sure that you turn Ring of Basilius on just to push the tower a little bit harder. It gives your creeps that armor R they need. And Painted Gold running into two heroes here. Pops the ult immediately. This might be a double kill going his way. Shaitan will almost certainly fall here within seconds. The Fire Panda doing a nice job of damaging him down. Looks like Musica in some trouble. Will he be able to get out? Wait for him to follow. There's no Cyclone being used yet. I guess the Wind Panda is not rage. It could be Windwalking at the moment. Boulder is going to hit. He comes back in. Musica, is he going to eat the clap? He, not the best bro string. Goes for the Epicenter. This could be a huge turnaround. Painted Gold. Will he get away? No, being slow too much. That clap is too strong, man. And Korak lives as well as Painted Gold. Great play for Quantic. And this is the start they wanted. This is the start they needed to have any chance of winning this game.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that they pushed down the top tower, I'm rather surprised they were able to do that. They just bursted down with the nukes from Waveform and the CM with her Crystal Nova. Was able to just pop the creep waves over and over, and they built up.
Sorry to interrupt you, but bottom lane, Bleak eats a roar, and he is going to go down. No, he's not actually. He's going to live with so little HP. Oh, and actually, what a snipe.
Oh, nice little play. If he had just been able to get out of reach of that, maybe been able to teleport away. Musica is setting up, but he doesn't have his epicenter anyway after that attempt at middle, which did not work for him. So, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to do anything at bottom right now, but he is going to be able to farm. I'm just really surprised that AL gave up that top tower to Quantic like that. That's a lot of gold that they really shouldn't really try and give up right now. Painted Gold is going to be chasing down Godot. He does have the phase boots, but it's not going to be enough. He can't get in range fast enough. So he's going to go right back to farming. Let's go over the CS score right now, where right now Painted Gold is 47-4, but Bleak is 46-11, so he's keeping up when it comes to carry farm. 41-15 on Shaitan on that Enigma, so he's doing very, very nicely. And everybody else pretty much, Korak 24-8, which really sucks, but Musica's 29-1, so at the very least, you Sand King, the solo mid, is matching up to the hard carry in the side lanes. So they do at least have that going for them. Even if Cork doesn't have the best CS, neither does Musica. So.
Oh, there's going to be a fight over this rune top, and Paydicle runs into Clap. Snoopy denies the rune. Godot, with that Edict, doing so much damage to Paydicle, and he doesn't have the ult. Panda without ult is a completely different hero. Down he goes. Solara running in. Quantic might just be feeding one at a time. Oh, and it looks like the Split Earth is going to stop the Axis. Snoopy gets out of range. Down goes Solara, and Mikey needs to back off now. Eats the Burrow Strike, and no mana on Godot at the moment. Nova actually coming in, and the turnaround may be happy for last hit Magic Tower Shot as well. They're going to live. But yeah, overextension by Quantic there, and you got to be very careful about that. Bleak is pushing bottom the entire time, up to 1,700 gold. One of the... Oh, and actually the Crystal Maiden just went down. Hopefully you caught that, because I certainly did not. But one of the other benefits to getting that early tier 1 top is it makes it a lot safer for Korok to farm the lane by himself. You have to rely on smoke ganks or, run by wards in order to get up there. And Quantic is doing a nice job of keeping that standard gank path up the river warded. So Korok is going to have a much better time than he was to start this game off in terms of that farm.
Absolutely, and they can't really leave him alone too much. As we all know, Korok is definitely a very good carry player, and he's going to be able to see us. When he's left alone like that, you can be assured that he's going to get all, if not most, of the CS that is available to him. So you really have to be able to shut him down. Right now, they shut him down very well early game, so they can leave him alone for a little bit, but you just want to be careful. You can't leave him alone for too long. It looks like Beastmaster is going to start doing the stacks that he already has up on the Ancients, just a little 2-stack, a little bit of extra golden experience eventually, so start working on that. Yeah, I felt like that was a little bit of a mistake by Solara not throwing those axes earlier. He knew that Windrunner was coming in with the extra nuke. I think they could have at least traded for that Venomancer if he'd just gotten those axes off before he was stunned, but rather unfortunate, trying to maximize his damage, not paying out due to that stun. Panda Gold taking a little bit of damage, but he should be just fine. No big deal. Nice little stun coming out from Godot. But
up top.
Oh, Musica getting very, very low. Double damage. He's going to pop it. He's going to try and hit a stun here. Sandstorm does go off. Black Hole hitting 2 heroes, but the power shot finishes him off. He was not able to get a stun off. Chiton is in some serious trouble now. Beastmaster coming in from behind. They're going to wipe all 3 of those heroes instantly. Nobody going down. Nice little fire breath coming in from Bleak, but not enough to do really any big damage. And now they're going to start pushing in middle, I think. With a 5-man group up, why not just push in that tower anyway after you've taken 3 hero kills? At the very least, you can force some teleports, but it looks like they are going to go back to farming.
This is the power of Panda. Even though you black hole him, he's just too tanky. You can't bring him down, and if you don't bring him down, he's going to win the fight for his team. As soon as that ult pops, AL can do nothing but run and die while they're trying to. Especially a Panda who gets a good start. The best thing for AL to do right now is only to fight when the Panda ult is down, and when it's up, try to gank the Panda or bait the ult off. Because otherwise he's just going to dominate all the team fights, and every fight that you lose is a 2 to 3 minute window for Korok to be farming.
Middle, great little shackle shot. They're going to be able to hit the slow. Painted Gold does catch up with the phase booth. Snoopy does to get a great slow off on both heroes, so he's going to be able to get away. Very nicely done. Snoopy's done very, very well. Both farming bottom with the wards. He's got level 4 wards up set up already, and he almost has a mech. He just needs another 650 gold, and he'll be able to pick that up, which is a huge boon for his team. As a support hero who's been pretty much jungling, doing pulls, he's gotten last hits very, very well, clearly, as he almost has the mech 14 minutes in.
Well, you keep on talking about farm, and although I'm mentioning that Korok is getting the opportunity to farm, he's still very far behind. 3 CS per minute. Sure, he's 2-1-1, but if you're a Morphling player, and a player like Korok, he's not going to be happy unless it's 6+ CS a minute. 4 to 5 is acceptable for a player of his caliber. On the bottom lane, it looks like Bleak might be in a little bit of trouble here. Solara has an Invis rune looking for a roar opportunity, while up top they push his commencing shackle shot. Not going to latch. I guess top is the place to focus on, as there are 6 heroes here instead of only 3. And in the end, the DK actually rotates out. He's going to join the push. AL is starting the push. The question is it too late? Did they already give too much of an opening to Quantic?
Yeah, potentially. It really sucks. Solara just barely missed out on a potential stun, stopping the DK from going top. But they're going to just try and trade towers here, I think. Musica coming in from behind. Does get a stun on last hit magic. They're going to be able to hit that. Quantic is just going to have to back up from here and try and trade towers. AL is going to be able to grab top. Bottom, oh, very, very high health. Might not be able to pick this one up. AL can either choose and defend it, or they can just keep going. Korok trying to do a little bit of damage before he goes back to farming. So they are going to take tier 1 at bottom. Quantic picks up that tower, but at the same time, they're going to sacrifice a lot of chip damage on their tier 2 before they're able to force a fight here and try and defend this tower.
Something to keep an eye on as this push continues is that the mechanism is on its way to Snoopy. This is one of the most farmed Venomancers you will see for a hero that's been playing support this game. Really nice job by Snoopy. And I like the fact that he got some farm in the middle lane earlier. We saw him with the wards up when that failed gank happened. Just giving Venomancer a couple minutes to farm the lane so important. Mechanism is popped. They're going to continue the push. And Korok cannot do much. This is where Morphling struggles, is in these early game situations. If he's under farmed, he can't do anything to stop the push. I mean, Korok is clever, right? So he waveforms and replicates out. Still, that's not going to be enough. Painted Gold coming in from the rear. Will they be able to lock him down? He's got the ult. He pops it, but they might have baited it out successfully, as I don't think Ale is going to get caught, although Bleak is getting caught. Looks like Korok is in some trouble too. Who will go down first? Bleak getting very low. Korok morphing the straight. This is why you ban Morphling against Korok, because you just can't kill the guy. The Panda's caught up, and it looks like they throw the Enigma up into the air. Boulder toss on the Godot. Very nice micro by Painted Gold. Down goes Godot. Black hole on 2. Korok still, actually, he can't morph the strength anymore. I think he's maxed out. Another kill going Korok's way. And if you overextend against Morphling, if you overextend against Korok, he will make you pay. This is going to be a team wipe. Painted Gold, great play. Nice effort all around by Quantic, and that is a huge swing in their direction.
Absolutely. This just goes to show why they 5th picked Panda. Like you were saying, Morphling really suffers right now. This is the perfect time to really push against a Morphling. He's outside of the laning phase where he's pretty strong due to that waveform. During that initial laning phase, he's very strong, but once we start getting outside of that, he really starts to falter and really needs to get those 2 big items, especially if he's going to go Shotgun Morphling. He has to try and get that early, otherwise he's going to be seriously suffering, and Panda makes up for that so well. Even though they did, I think AL baited out that Panda ult relatively well. A little bit of miscommunication. Music got get kind of low here. Panda Gold's going to try and hit the clap, but he gets out in time. They're just trying to slow Painted Gold. They're going back and forth. Epicenter is going to go off. They're going to try and finish off Painted Gold. He does not have an ultimate. Slow goes off, and oh, look at him go. He just needs one more hit. Where is the lightning strike? It's going to be up shortly. Oh, it's still not enough. 22 health on Painted Gold, and Snoopy's now in trouble, trying to chase. Korok is going to be able to finish him off. Oh, the Musica trying to hit the stun to save his teammate, but not in time. And now Quantic is season opening. They're going to try and keep going. Mikey trying to hit some sort of shackle shot. Instead, they're just going to back off here. Due to the Eidolons doing way too much damage, they're going to just try and get some of this farm now.
Yo, Panda Imba, man, this is why you don't give this hero away. And now there's a Blink Dagger up. Wait, he just sold something. I guess he's going to rebuy it. Maybe he's thinking of a different item. Maybe he's going to rush an Aghanims. I'm not sure what I think he is going to rush. He paid it gold doing all sorts of shenanigans here. In the end, he opts for the Blink Dagger. Oh, and it just got so much harder for AL. You saw how well Panda initiated without a Blink. Well, now he's got one to work with, and it is tough times. Meanwhile, Korok is happily farming up. He's got 1,800 gold in the bank. The question is, what do you go for here? Because I don't think this is a Lincoln's game. Sure, they're on a good pace right now, but you want that Morphling to contribute sooner rather than later. Maybe a quick Yasha into a Manta style. Maybe something like an Ethereal Blade. Because if you look at AL, they have heroes that can carry BKB, but nobody who's too close. As I say that, Bleak is quite close. We'll have to see, but I think... Oh, in the middle lane, hopefully you caught that. Musica goes down. Korok on a mega kill after really a horrible start for him through no fault of his own. Great play. Yeah, I'm curious what the Morphling will be going for.
Yeah, I really don't think Lincoln's is one of those items I think he really needs to have before 20 minutes to be effective. Otherwise, I think it's just too big of a gold investment. Otherwise, you're just slowing down those other damage items that you really, really need. Maxing all the way to agility with double damage, they're going to clear out Roshan relatively quickly. And really no good wards up. They have one ward which might have seen them go in that area, but they're not even going to be able to contest it. The Roche does go down. Quantic really turning this game around quite a bit. The gold lead right now is still 1,000 lead for the Radiant, but at one point it was reaching the 4,000 mark. They've really turned things around very, very well. A couple mistakes by AL, but I think really it's just Quantic just making some really big plays left and right. And that means Morphling is getting his farm, and eventually he will be coming in and doing some serious damage. And the question is he going to go Ethereal Blade, which will help him pop heroes, squishy heroes such as Leshrac, who do a lot of damage, or is he going to go for that Manta, as you suggested, and go for that sort of harder carry build, and just let Beastmaster be the boss?
Oh, Malefice on Korok immediately waveforms out. Looks like Quantic not quite ready to take the fight. It is very frustrating to push against the Venomancer because he constantly spams those wards. You also have the Eidolons and the anti-push up the Leshrac. Oh, initiation on Godot. The Panda ult is used and everyone get the hell out. Except you can't because that Panda too strong. Throwing Enigma up in the air. The Boulder already onto the Leshrac. Bleak gets stunned up and it looks like actually I think he got frostbitten. Mikey is going to burst him down. Bleak able to do nothing in this fight. He's going to go down. I think he's going to go down. He's so low. He runs back in. He dies. Enigma's still up in the air. Completely being kited in a decent black hole, but it doesn't look like it's up. Musica now retreating out and it looks like he's going to die. Yep, Musica is going to die. Lots of pings, frantic paints onto Shaitan. They want another 4 to 5 man fight here, and Shaitan in so much trouble. I think it might just be about that time where Quantic is too big. The other item Korra could go for if he wants is a Skady. I know he loves Eye of Skady, but normally it's his second item, not his first. That was another massive fight. Quantic coming back in style. It looks like we might be headed to a game 5. Of course, it's too early to call it, but Quantic is in a commanding lead now.
Yeah, I would love to see game 5. This is excellent. Quantic, everybody's teleporting out and going to try and get some from everybody teleporting top, apparently. I guess they're all going to share this farm. But anyway, they're going to go back and get some farm because they know they have sort of this this late game advantage where they can sit back and just get some more farm and wait for AL to try and push in. Right now, we do have the pipe. Let's go over items real quick. Yeah, the pipe on Beastmaster. What else do we see? We've got a Hyperstone on Bleak. But he really doesn't have that next big item yet, as we saw in that last team fight. Really wasn't effective enough. I mean, he started targeting a Windrunner who popped the Windrun, so he had to target someone else, and he just wasn't able to finish anybody off with the damage that he has right now. Shaitan does have a Hood of Defiance, so he's not going to go for any sort of initiation there. He's going to just go straight for Pipe, and try and get some team fight for his team. Meanwhile, I don't see anything else on the Quantic side. Of course, Korok is going to be picking up his next item. He does have 4,000 gold, so here's the time to choose whether or not he's going to go Ethereal Blade or Manta, and then followed up, like you said, probably a Scotty right after he gets that Manta, which will be very helpful, especially kiting around a Dragonite after Dragon form. Also being able to kite around the other heroes just as easily. We're going to see a nice little smoke up coming in from Quantic, and they're going to try and get some sort of pick in the jungle. Right now, Bleak is in there as well as Godot, but 4 AL heroes at bottom. This might turn around if they just get the pick on Godot and back out, but no, they get spotted and they're going to run away. All the meanwhile, Korok farming away.
While we're on the subject of item selection here, I have to criticize Bleak. I know this is the build he likes to go for with a Hyperstone, either into Mjolnir or Assault Cuirass, but this is not the right game to do it. That build is great when you're leading, when you have a commanding lead, but if he had a BKB in that fight, sure, he could be roared. In fact, I believe he was roared in that fight. Still, you're not going to take nearly as much damage. If you look at the Dire lineup, they're almost entirely magical based. You also have the mechanism up on the Venoman, so that can help keep you alive. And with the BKB, DK is a threat that cannot entirely be ignored, whereas without it, we saw he was just constantly stunned, nuked, and unable to do anything. So I think the failure of Ale to make those adjustments, whereas Quantic has been making them all game, even lane switching very early on, might prove to be the difference here as Quantic groups up, looking to push bottom. The other point I wanted to make is that Quantic has they did a great job after winning that fight of getting some offensive wards up. This gives them more map control, gives their Morphling more opportunity to farm safely, and this is going to be a huge bait if they actually fall for it, but Ale is not having none of this. Will they give up the tier 2 bottom for free? Looks like they might.
Yeah, that is a very hard tower to defend. It looks like they're just going to try and get some sort of counter push on their own. It does look like Korok is going to be going for that Scotty right off the bat. No Manta, no Ethereal Blade, just straight stats for him. So that's going to be his item of choice. Very interesting. And it looks like they're going to take the tier 2 and probably teleport back and defend middle, which is being pushed right now. Question is, does AL really want to force this fight again? I mean, Brewmaster is just going to get stronger. Once he hits level 16, he's going to be able to pick up the Aghanims. And you're really going to be feeling it for AL. I mean, level 16 with Aghanims is pretty much where Brewmaster peaks out. So they can either choose to fight this now before he grabs it, and before Korok gets Scotty and those kind of items, or wait until Brewmaster sort of goes down in effectiveness. He's still very effective in team fights, but it's mainly, as it gets later and later, it's mainly all about the disables that he's able to do, especially the Cyclone, which lasts 6 seconds, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, we saw that in the last fight. The Cyclones have usually been thrown onto Shaitan, and Shaitan just sits there helplessly while his team melts all around him. So, I mean, if you're Shaitan, you got to be thinking BKB as well. Unfortunately, he's already been working towards the pipe for a bit, and that's going to be his next item, which means he can still be disabled and locked down by Panda. For anyone who's not familiar with the mechanics of how Panda and Black Hole interact, I mentioned this in one of the previous games, but I will mention it again. Well, hold that thought, as Snoopy may be in some trouble here. Okay, he's going to be fine. But if Panda is an ult form, Black Hole will not actually affect the Pandas. So the only way that you can get a Black Hole off while the Panda is in ult form is to have a BKB. You won't actually hold the Panda Ancients back, but you can still catch his teammates. Without that BKB, I mean, it's not just that. You've also got the Beastmaster, or a lot of other ways to lock down the Enigma and prevent him from getting the ult. So I guess it makes sense to not go for BKB, but without one, you are never getting a Black Hole unless Quantic does something horribly wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's just going to have to wait until that Panda ulti goes down or try and catch him beforehand, and the chances are Quantic's not going to be so grouped up. You know, if they do catch Panda before he pops his ult, that just means somebody, probably Beastmaster, is going to be able to hit that stun. If not, Morphling or CM can do the job as well. So it's going to be very hard for him to hit anything with that Black Hole, and I think that's a really smart choice that he's going pipe, just going straight out for the team fight, knowing that you're only going to get 1 or 2 second Black Hole anyway. Let's not, bank everything on that.
Man, look at the wards right now. Quantic just has so much map control. I think they're even stacking the enemy Ancients here. Maybe that was AL that started to do it, as Dragonite often will be doing that. I'm not sure if this Dragonite is actually... I'm not sure if Bleak has been using his Helm of the Dominator to take over a creep. Normally what you like to do is take over a jungle creep and then use that creep to stack the Ancient Camp, then come and farm it later on in your ult form. Of course, with the kind of map control Quantic has, I don't think we're going to see that happening. Still, it would be nice to have the Centaur to stomp, and in fact there is a Centaur right near his tier 2 mid. Korok just pushing in the top lane. This is where that hero Morphling really shines. If you get the map control, you can split push with the Morphling, send a Replicate over to sit with your team, and if the fight breaks out, you can be there. Very similar to a Spectre with his ultimate and his ability to show up anywhere on the map, constantly able to participate in team fights while still farming before the fights break out.
Absolutely, and this puts AL in a really bit of a bind because they don't really want to force a fight here. They're going to try and catch Morphling out. There goes the stun, but can they force something? Dragonite's going to try and hit it, but the waveform does go off, and Korok's going to be running for his life. He's going to be just fine, going to be able to get out. Meanwhile, Quantic is going to start transitioning over to top, see if they can pick somebody here. But Painted Cold actually is going to go in. He hits a nice little double slow, and he's going to go on Godot right away. Try and pop that here. Korok finishes him off. Nice shackle shot. Huge play by Mikey, locking the 2, and now the stuns come out, and Shaitan can do absolutely nothing. He pops the Black Hole, but look, he even goes down just to the Pandas. Meanwhile, Bleak is trying to do what work he can. Last hit match getting very, very low. Korok coming in, trying to slow him. Korok has some more stats, though, and they're just kiting Bleak around as much as humanly possible. Bleak can do nothing but fight whatever is available to him and eventually go down. So unfortunate, and it is going to be 4 heroes down for absolutely nothing for Quantic, as well as a tier 2 tower, and they're going to start threatening this tier 3. It does look like Morphling's going to back up, heal up, and then teleport right back to that Dragonite illusion, and they're going to be able to take the Rax, maybe. We're going to see Dragonite up in 30 seconds, so the only way they don't lose Rax here is if they force a 4-on-5 for long enough that Quantic does not take up the Rax. We just are going to see, actually Glyph is down, so there goes melee Rax.
Yeah, that's one set of Rax. They can at least get the tier 2 mid if they want to. Actually, it looks like Musica is doing his best to delay this push, and he should be okay for the moment, but is going to be driven back into the base. Still, they got the melee Rax. That's what they came for. Frankly, right now, everyone talks about what an amazing player Korok is and how he's been carrying Quantic. I mean, at least if you read, a lot of the sites where people talk about Dota, that seems to be the general consensus. Flat out, Painted Gold is winning this game for his team on the back of that Panda. The pick was fantastic. It was exactly what they needed, and the play has been even better. With that big push, they get the Rax, and Roshan about to respawn. Expect to see Quantic transition into the Roshan pit, and then immediately after that, they can go for another push. They have a commanding lead. They could also play it safe and farm because Morphling will outcarry Dragonite in the late game. We'll have to see in terms of item progression what Korok goes for, but he's got a lot of money in the bank. 3,500 to his name. Lots of items could be good here. I wouldn't mind seeing a BKB. The only thing that can stop that is the Enigma ult, and Korok generally likes to go for a more offensive build. So I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Butterfly Manta style, something like that.
Absolutely. AL just trying to farm what they can. Godot, so poor. Snoopy doing decently. He actually does have 2,000 gold in the bank. But other than that, the rest of the team just doesn't really have anything. And it's really unfortunate because already their hero picks are kind of countered when it comes to a Panda. Shaitan, hugely countered. Godot is going to be going down every single time that Panda gets an opportunity. Korok, though, is going to be able to pop him maybe with this haste. He's trying to jump on, but actually backs out now. He sees 4 heroes bottom and does not want to mess with that, even with the haste. So he's probably just going to go right back to farming, and they're going to set up for this Roshan, which they do have dire advantage. So Quantic probably going to be easily going to pick this up. And AL feels like they're just going to kind of lose by attrition here. I mean, it would be nice to try and force this fight at a Roshan, but it's going to go down too quickly, and even then, a bad team fight will not probably just end up ranked, and that's going to be GG. So if they can farm, it'll be nice, but at the same time, Morphling's only going to get stronger and stronger and stronger, and it just feels like they're going to lose eventually. So they definitely have to pull something out of the hat here and try and turn this game around before we go on to a Game 5.
Yeah, it's so tough. I mean, the only real source of damage for Ale right now is Bleak, because everyone else just dies instantly. The Leshrac we saw in the last fight. This is a support Leshrac, and Leshrac has very low strength gain, very low base HP. He will not survive anything, especially against a Panda, a Morphling with so much in terms of items already, the Roar, the Shackle Shot. Too many ways to bring down the Leshrac, and aside from those two, there's just not enough damage. The only source of damage is Bleak, but he's countered really hard by that Drunken Haze. All of his attacks are missing. He's not level 16 yet, and DK is a completely different hero once he hits level 16, as his ultimate will slow everyone. That can allow you to kite and lock down heroes as well as escape if you need to, but he's not close enough to it as Quantic groups up mid looking to end this game, and it would be a real shame for AL if Blake's not able to hit 16 before that fight breaks out, but it looks like that may be the case.
Yeah, he's a little sliver more until 15, but then a whole entire level before, and that just probably means anytime Quantic's gonna force this tower down sometime soon. Panic. He's gonna go in with that Aegis. Musica trying to go down. Huge shackle shot. Once again, they're targeting Blake, gonna keep him down, and he does not have that extra dragon form. It doesn't matter. He's gonna go down instantly. Nice little black hole coming in for Shaitan, locking down 2 heroes, but it's not gonna be enough. And they do actually go down, but there's an Aegis up. Shaitan trying to get away. Mikey actually might get popped here. Godot trying to finish him off with the nuke, but it's not going to be enough. Cork with the Aegis going to come back in and finish off these support heroes. Painted Gold as well. Done with his ultimate. Gonna start crushing kids. 3-3 trade right now, but the important thing is Korok and Painted Gold are the 2 heroes left, while it's just some support heroes, Shaitan and Godot right now left. So they can easily try to do a little bit of chip if they want to this tower. I don't think they're going to be able to get it just because Shaitan is going to be able to throw out these little stuns as long as they don't die or anything. Actually, they might pick up the Korok kill. He's getting kind of low, but more stats is so strong. Painted Gold trying to go in. Oh, there goes. Shotgun Morphling comes out on Korok. And we're going to see actually Musica going to try and chase him, but look at the more stats go off. He still has so much agility that he can change, so he's going to be just fine. And that's the power of Morphling, man. When you get that Scotty, you get those extra stats. It's just amazing with more stats how much tanking you can do as long as you're able to more stats.
Yeah, it's like having to kill 2 or even 3 carries, and of course he can also go Glass Cannonball, which we saw he did to start off that fight. The Aegis was used nonetheless. You have to be happy if you're Quantic, because that was probably the best Black Hole AL is going to get. And they still couldn't take the fight. They didn't kill the Morphling. That was what they needed. And Korok again with the power. Oh man, he hits so hard, especially when he's morphed as heavily to agility as he is right now. He's really out of control. This is the point of the game where, I mean, Korok just has to like go feed to the enemy fountain for Quantic to drop this. It might take a while to win, but IO doesn't have the items. They don't have the map control to really be able to do anything in this game. And Bleak's still looking for 16. Another downside to losing that Rax top is that the creeps are going to give him less experience, which means it takes him that much longer to hit that.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a 12,000 gold lead for the Dire, and I think you're absolutely right when you say that really just Korok has to feed right now in order for AL to come back. This game's just going to slowly but surely, Quantic's going to start tightening the noose slowly but surely, getting more and more farm, pressuring the middle tower a little bit more here and there. Just keep all the lanes pushed, and if they have the opportunity to get a pick, they get that pick and then just push in the racks.
Oh, Korok so bold onto the high ground for Snoopy and then replicates out. That was a kind of anticlimactic. I thought he was going to get that kill. I don't think he used the Ethereal Blade before Adaptive Strike, or maybe it was just the waveform didn't hit. Either way, not quite enough damage.
Yeah, it just sucks being a support hero when you're going up against a shotgun Morphling. It's just so powerful. Just he can do that, just replicate back to his illusion, and he's like, oh, I attempted. Actually, at bottom, we're going to see Solera actually going on Musica. There's the pick they're looking for. They can force this fight now. Nice little thought, and they're going to go on Shaitan here, force this fight, and take him out. Unless they have buybacks here, this is going to be the end for AL. Bleak is still alive, though. He can do some damage if he can, but look at it, Gododge being chased all the way to the fountain. The Fire Panda is done, so there goes a lot of damage, but Cyclone on Bleak, and he's just done for. They're going to try and finish off the rest of the support, and then turn to Bleak, the very last hero alive, full health, almost full mana. Cyclone, again. Just whenever they want to, just completely disable him. Now they're going to try and finish him off. GG being called out by AL. So Quantic, we're going to go into a Game 5, ladies and gentlemen, 2-2. Quantic takes Game 4. It's just a back and forth. Each team. Oh my goodness. Gotta love it.
I'll reiterate what I said earlier. People are going to look at this final scoreboard and they're going to say, hey, guess what? Another Quantic game where they won and Korok carried them on one of his 3 signature heroes, one of which is Morphling. But don't forget how this game started, folks, which was Korok having an awful time on the bottom lane. A great strategic decision. I'm not sure who's actually calling for Quantic, but whoever decided to send the Morphling up top, rotate the Beastmaster down, and eventually migrate the whole tri-lane there, that as well as the amazing play by Painted Gold on the Panda won them the game. Drafting the Panda was that I said they're going to need a miraculous hero to be able to take a team fight, and Panda is that miracle worker in this game for Quantic, as well as in general. Just such a great team fight here. Nice last pick in the draft. Great play by Painted Gold. Overall, an impressive showing for Quantic. It was one of the longer games we've had, and maybe this is a sign of good things to come. Perhaps Game 5 will actually end up being a 50-plus minute game.
Yeah, maybe we'll see that, big old 70-minute game or something. AL always seems to prove at least one game in their series that they have a very, very long game. Anyway, guys, we're going to take a short little break while we get the next game up. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.